Hello, I'm Jeremy, and today we're going to look at the 20th in my series of German Game of the Year, or Spiel des Jahres winners. And this is an award that is given each year by the German gaming press to the game that they feel is most worthy of, advocating the hobby, especially to family game players. So, this game is going to be Dixit, and I should note that I have the expansion, which is also sold as a standalone, Dixit Odyssey, and I'll be using that to explain the game. The games play very similarly. It's just that this one does go up to 12 players, whereas the base game Dixit goes from 3 to 6 players. And this is a game that's for players, it says ages 8 and up, and it's going to play in about 30 minutes. And it's a rather abstract, almost a party game, where players are going to be trying to interpret dreams, which are represented by cards that show very abstract art. And each round, a player will be playing as a storyteller who will give a clue to which dream card that they're picking, but that they want it to be not so blatant that every player will get it, but giving enough information so that some players will be able to get it. Let me just show you how it works in action, and then I'll come back and let you know what I think about the game. Okay, so here I've set up a 5-player game of Dixit, and I should note that I'm using the scoreboard from Dixit Odyssey. This is a standalone / expansion to the original game, which expands the game up to 12 players, but I'll explain the game using the base game components and rules otherwise. So in Dixit, each player is going to get 5 cards, and these are dream cards, and essentially they show abstract art, which is pretty detailed. And then they'll also get a set of voting tokens equal to the number of players. So if there's 5 players, as we have here, they'll get 1 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's going to happen is that this game's going to be played over a number of rounds until a player reaches 30 points. Each player is going to have a scoring marker. And what is going to happen each round is that players will take turns being the storyteller. And what the storyteller will do is they will each turn submit a card and give a story. So, for example, I could submit this card here, which is just this compass on a map, and I might say, I don't know where I'm going. And your story could be as simple as that. It could be just one phrase. It could be a song, lyric. It could be more elaborate if you wanted to. And then you'll just submit it face down. And then what will happen is every other player will use that information. My story was just, I don't know where I'm going, and look at their cards and try to pick a card that seems similar to that. So for example, here, this guy looks a little lost, so that player might submit this card. Let's see, this player has these. And you can see a lot of the pleasure in this game is just, that would, I think, be a good match. A lot of the pleasure in this game is just, admiring the artwork and just collectively discussing the artwork with people. So this would be a terrific one, obviously. It has a maze. And let's see what this guy has. Yeah, he looks a little worried and uncertain, so we'll submit that. So now every player had submitted a card. And these are just going to get shuffled up. So this is one card from each player, including the storyteller. And then they'll get put into these numbered spaces. So, like this. And now each player, besides the storyteller, of course, will have to use these little voting tiles that they have to determine which story they think, or which card corresponds with the story, I don't know where I'm going. So they know it's not theirs, of course, but otherwise they don't know which of those it might be. And you can see that this becomes a question of interpretation. And often, players will discuss openly which one they think it might be, and so on. So let's just say this player submits this player submits this player submits this, and this player submits this. So once every player has submitted a tile face down, the tiles get revealed, and we see those are the results. And now the storyteller will reveal what was their card, so it would be this one, and then the cards will be scored. The way that the scoring works is that if the storyteller's card has been chosen by at least one player, the storyteller plus any other player who has chosen that card will get 3 points each. So here the storyteller had their card picked, they were red, they would get 3 points, and blue picked the story correctly, they would get 3 points also. Then any other player who had their card chosen will get 1 point per player that chose their card. So here, this third player, which is pink, they have 2 people who chose their card, so pink would get 2 points. And then here, the fourth player, which is white, they had 1 person choose their card, they would get 1 point. If nobody chooses a storyteller's card, or if everybody chooses a storyteller's card, either because they made their clue too obvious or not obvious enough, then every player except the storyteller will score 2 points. That would conclude a round. Every player would refill their hand back up to 5. The storyteller would rotate, and then a new round would begin. This will go until a player hits 30 points, and then whoever does that first will be the winner of Dixit. Okay, so that is Dixit. And this is, I think, one of the most open-ended, creative games in board gaming. I think that in a real sense, it encourages creativity, it encourages art appreciation, and it really encourages players to sit around and talk among one another. So it's, as a social interaction game, it's very, very interesting, and it works really well. However, I will say that this game is highly group dependent. I have seen this game fall flat with many groups, and I've seen it, be a terrifically fun game with many groups. Sometimes what I do if I'm playing with a mixed group or a group that I haven't played before is that I'll suggest maybe every player just being the storyteller twice, and just letting the winner be whoever's ahead at the end of that, just to limit the amount of time that it takes, because there's some people who just do not enjoy this game. They do not enjoy being the storyteller, having the pressure to be creative on the spot. They have a hard time interpreting clues, so this is definitely a game that will fall flat with certain gamers and with certain groups. And but however, it does have the potential to really flourish with the right people. I think playing this with children would be terrific. The box says ages 8 and up. That probably sounds about right, because you do need some level of abstract thinking, and that fine line of giving a clue that's going to guide some people but not everybody to a clue, to a card, would be somewhat difficult, I think, for younger children who would tend to be over obvious, I would think. But overall, this game works very well. It's, mostly just, I think, a group activity. The scoring mechanism is clever. It's been borrowed, actually, largely from another Spiel des Jahres winner, Barbarossa, which had a similar thing where you wanted to make your clues somewhat vague but somewhat on target. And that balance is where the real game lies here, so much as it is a game. But in all, this is a game that is pleasant to play. It's not one of my absolute favorite party games, but I respect the I would say the romantic side of this game. I think that the idea that you're describing dreams and being vague about describing dreams is actually quite clever, and the theme is actually comes through the mechanics, and I think that that's an achievement in itself. So those are my thoughts on Dixit, and thanks for watching.